are termed to be fit biblically, because I know the Lord doesn't want us to be unhappy. That's not what I'm saying. Don't take me wrong, but we talk about crude joking or foolish jesting, where we're laughing. This is where we're getting into mocking and scoffing, where we're laughing at other people's downfalls or the despairs in their life. We, to our emotions, so that to supersede our emotions, we'll start finding humor or laughing about it. Like you see, like on some of the carnal minded people programs that they show, like laughing at people's mistakes. Whoop, they fell down, and laugh at that person because you don't know how to control your emotions. That would be like crude joking. Like let's just say I fell down and I see everybody laughing at me. And then so that I don't feel rejected, I laugh with them. That's not. And then society gets to implore this behavior, and then we all start just mocking and scoffing at each other, at other people's mistakes or failures. And this is the details that become so big. It says humor is foolish jesting, hindered by this seriousness. Humor does not translate well from culture to culture or language to language, because some things that go on other people's culture is things that we don't hear, but we might find if we're laughing, they don't see why we're laughing. They don't understand our mind. And I'm not saying like water yourself down to appease people, but I'm saying you have to know, like, if let's just say someone's struggling with oppression, and there's a battle going on behind closed doors that you don't know of, and they find you laughing with another person about this subject, and then they're like, you've then put them in a shell. And this is why I say we have to be careful. And I'm not saying walk on eggshells, because rebellious people operate in the system of narcissism, where they don't take, or apathy, they don't take other people's feelings into consideration. Some people say you're naive, you're too kind. No, I'm too Christ. That's what I am. I'm too Christ. Because you don't know what battles people are struggling with, just like they don't know your struggles, because we all have fallen short of glory of God. We've all sinned. There's not a person in this world. Some are further in outer darkness than others. Their sin separates you from the face of God or will of God. That's why I talk of generational curses and ancestral curses, and some people get a seared conscience where they no longer can differentiate right from wrong, good from evil, because they've seen so much disparity or dysfunctionality in their familial upbringing, societal. Like it says, the days are evil. The world, Babylon is fallen. People are dealing with, this is the habitation of devils and unclean spirits. People are dealing with them. Especially if you're in sin, you're dealing with them. I know, because I've done deliverance. I've done deliverance on many people, and when they've got delivered, they didn't even know that they needed it. They're like, all of a sudden, they wake up to this reality, like, what had just happened? What was that? What was that? What was going on? It's because they're spiritually oppressed. We're not warring with flesh and blood. We're warring with spirits and forces. And if anybody, I can guarantee you that most people in this world are under these curses, because this started in the land, or the Garden of Eden, or the land of Canaan, where the curse began. We're born into sin, our flesh. And depending upon how much trials that you've endured in your life will depend upon how much deliverance or change of your course of ways and thoughts you need. So this, and I'm able to see this. So like the Lord says, I reveal all things. Not only did he reveal the things about myself, my own identity that I was fighting, because some people tell me, oh, that Jesus stuff made me crazy. No, it made me sound-minded. It gave me a will to change my ways, and gave me the strength to do so, and to acknowledge the things that not only I need to repair myself, but now that I've overcome those things in my life, I could see that narrative operative in other people's. Not to condemn, but to convict, to change them, to call them out. If someone sins, tell them. Don't worry about who's offended, worry about who's being deceived. Some people are self-deceived, thinking that they can live in their sin and not have, wrath. Judgments fall on children that are disobedient, sinners. Sin, wages of sin is death. You're actively dying in your sins. So humor biblically sneaks up on you like a mischievous exploit, like, an uncontrollable laughter. Or like, let's just say if I spilled something on somebody and then everybody laughs, makes a joke of it. Where this person was like, oh my gosh, but then they start laughing with you because they don't want to feel rejected. That's not good. You have to be kind. Balaam, the son it says the seer who can't see or know what's going on. That's why he says they follow the ways of Cain and rituals of Balaam and destroy themselves. Remember, they see things but not appropriately. They find humor in other people's downfalls, or, Bible characters learn a lot about these dark sides of themselves by contrasting them, examining and judging yourself, for say. The wandering spirit, like Cain. You're wandering. You're just wandering around. You don't even know who you are because someone's told you fallacies about yourself. Like you've become the person that destroyed you. You start building walls and hardening your heart to certain emotions and lifestyles because someone destroyed your well-being, your emotional mental. That's why I talk about emotional and mental witchcraft. Because someone rebellious hurt you. That's what your seducing spirit did to you. They seduced you to shame. Sin shames people. Not only the person doing it, but the person that's presented in that instance or environment. Like children, you're shaming your children if they face domestic violence. You're shaming your children if they watch you smoke cigarettes. You're shaming your children if you don't like. There's just things that the Lord revealed to me. Some of the greatest prophets were sinners. They haven't sinned would be lie. But it talks about Cain and the golden calf. It's bent on evil. That's what that presents. Like the evil desires, like King Solomon, and idols in your heart, your evil desires. That was what the golden calf or brazen altar representation of. It was symbolic for bent on evil. That's what I just found the definition of golden calf, and it said bent on evil. You're bent. Your identity is bent. You don't know who you are, what you're doing. I hate the things I do, but yet I do the things I hate. We know it's wrong. We know it brings confusion. But some people learn to be so conductive in that despair that they can't find peace just sitting with themselves. They're so used to living around confusion and chaos that they don't know how to omit it out of their lives. They go to it instead of run from it. Like I said, they're sitting in a fire and they find complacency in it because outside of that, like if you take a child that's been failure to thrive most of his life and you put him in an environment where he can thrive and show him the correct foods to eat and how to be disciplined, he feels weird about it. It's a different path. It's a different course of action. So to change, that's why it says train a child the way you should go, because once a child becomes an adult, it's hard to change one's way of thinking. You're pulling everything, all false things, everything that's in them out of them and telling them, no, this is the way it should be. And they're like, huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? This is not the way it is for me. And that's why they say your enemies will be of your house, because they're under a curse. They're still living the way, defiantly, rebellious, the way you used to live. And you're no longer doing that. You've healed yourself, and you're now seeing the obscurities that destroyed your well-being. And it's not to make them feel less. It's just because you feel whole. Your righteousness will affect their unrighteous. Your spirit will irritate their demons. They're fighting darkness. Rebellion, hatred, malice, jealousy, envy, all those things, all those negative emotions. For whatever reasons, they begot them. And that's where you're mourning, because you're like, wow, you see what's going on with them. You have eyes to see and ears to hear, but you can't get them to see. Remember, Balaam was a seer who couldn't see. Like you're blinded by your own deceptions. You're blinded by your own darkness. And that should make anybody mourn, because you really want in the crowd of Christ people to be saved. You want them to be loved. You want them to bring them back to their purity and innocence. Whatever damaged them, you want them to come back. Come back. Go back. Go. I used to tell people when I was going through this journey, and I started having my visions and dreams, like I say things the Lord wants me to say, and I don't even know why I say them. Just like I say prayers, I don't know why I'm saying. I feel like the Lord has taken over my vessel. When someone says something, some people have asked me, why did you just say that? I'm like, I don't know. God told me to say that. Just like when I know people, there's monitoring spirits or leviathans operating, I'll be like, no divinator will sit in my assembly. There's just things I say. That's why I speak of demonic networks, because the Lord tells me it's as if it were possible. And that's why I say you're deceiving yourself if you think you can operate against other people and not be subject to the wrath of God. You're deceiving yourself, because you will not deceive him. He says he searches the reins, the motives, the hearts of man. And when your heart is evil, the golden calf, brazen altar, it will show out in your life. It will show in your relationships. It will show out in your rapport. It will show out in your mind, your life, and disparities. And you're self-deceived. You're a vessel here. You're either in one kingdom or the other. And that's the reality of it.